Hello and welcome to the end of the world. It is the Blood Moon Apocalypse on Two Scoops with Dan
Can
and
you
Craig.
feel it? Can you feel
Can
it?
can you feel the evil in the air? Things are happening, and this is Two Scoops, and I'm Dan,
And I'm Craig.
and this is still Two Scoops.
You're watching Two Scoops Morning News with Dan and Craig, your sunrise reminder that things could get worse, so laugh at them while you still can.
Craig, welcome to Two Scoops. Craig, did you get up in time for the beautiful blood red moon at 4 o'clock?
Oh, that was this last sleep that I just had. I thought this was the next sleep that I had.
No, it happened already.
No, I didn't do it then. Did you?
Unfortunately, we're all still here. I did. I got up a little after 4, and I looked at it, and I thought, "Huh, that looks neat." And then I went
See,
back
I
to bed.
I saw the last blood moon, and that came at like a happy time, like more like 11 or 12 at night versus like 4 at night. And I was like, oh, it's red. Yeah. And
It
then
wasn't that red. I'll be honest. It wasn't that
it's like
red.
it's like a
Car-
pinkish tint.
Carlin asks why I'm in the dark. Carlin, I'm still celebrating the blood moon. This is my blood moon attire and my blood moon celebration. Did you know, Craig, that Donald Trump was born on a blood moon?
I think I heard that at one point, and that's creepy. That's kind of
It is.
creepy. Yeah.
Does that mean
So,
he's the savior or the Antichrist? I'm not sure.
both. It
After
makes him
all the stuff that we were raised believing that the Antichrist would be the suave, debonair Barack Obama type, we get Donald Trump as the Antichrist, just as one final fuck you.
hey, but the people fell for it. It's
That's
all that
right.
mattered. You
You know what else
know
they fell for? You know what the best propaganda I've seen in this whole election process is?
what's up?
It's the revival of hashtag rock the vote, bro. Because we're bringing
Yes.
back all the 90s trends, the mullet, the mom jeans, the hashtag rock the vote. It'll work this time.
We might as well. I mean, it try anything, throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. It worked once. Maybe it'll work again
Hmm.
40 years later. I don't know.
Yep. Why not? All these kids are like they're saying things like rock on and yeah, go rock. You're really rocking those socks, bro. You rock my socks. And so, we got to speak their language sometimes. Hashtag
Obviously.
rock the vote. What better way to say we're all really old and shouldn't be doing this anymore?
Absolutely. Yeah, the last time these politicians were somewhat sort of relevant is when rock the vote was actually something that kids would have understood. So,
Right. Craig,
but
how do you feel about democracy on its final day? Uh, will you miss it tomorrow?
I don't know. I feel like if the Republicans do sweep through on this bloody moon as it is and do steal democracy away from us, I think they'll do it in such a way that we won't know that democracy is gone. We will think that we are still under democracy. And so, I like your ball,
This is my blood moon.
your orb.
You can't see it, so I have to hold it instead.
Okay. Um, I feel like they will do it so sneakily that we will think we're still in democracy, even though we are indeed living under fascism, and that would just be the most horrendous thing if we. Can you imagine? First of all, it'd be bad enough living under fascism and knowing it. Could you imagine living under fascism and not knowing it?
I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Mm-mm. That would just be. I mean, that'd be the worst. Like we would feel like we're still living in the same shitty country that we were, but we are obviously blatantly living under a shroud of fascism. But it is so shrouded that we don't even know we're in the fascism.
Yeah, and people would come out and defend the fascists and say, "Hey, we need to defend democracy because democracy will die if we vote for the other fascist instead of this fascist." But speaking
Could you
of,
imagine what that would be like?
No, I can't even imagine. But I do know that yesterday, Joe Biden. No, Joe Biden gave a speech. He was talking about the end of democracy. We talked about this on your show last night. If people want more stuff on that, but I also have a cold, so deal with it. But everybody's warning about this end of democracy thing, and Joe Biden took one more chance to warn us about the end of democracy last night. And then on Morning Joe, the White House, what's his name? Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, had this to say. If it'll work. No.
They actually call it Morning Joe?
Yeah. You're not familiar with Morning Joe?
No. Is that Joe Biden's morning
No.
bubbling? What is?
No. It's Joe Scarborough's show.
Okay.
All right. On MSNBC.
Right. I'm not the only one who sees it. Recent polls have shown that
Does that sound like crap to you?
No, it sounds fine to me.
Oh, maybe it's my headphones. Oh, well. No, don't refresh.
You're
doing
getting
great.
hit. You're getting hit with the curse that I got last night.
Yeah, it's my headphones because I have Bluetooth headphones on so I can wear this beautiful hat.
I'm not the only one who sees it. Recent polls have shown that overwhelming majority of Americans believe our democracy is at risk, that our democracy is under threat. They too see
Who are these
that
people?
democracy is on the ballot this year.
It's President Joe Biden speaking last night at Union Station in Washington, just a few blocks from the United States Capitol. Let's bring in White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain. Ron, thanks for being with us this morning. Tell us about the decision to make that speech about.
Did you say something? Because I can't hear you if you did.
He's really ugly.
Yes, I've never seen such a square-headed man. It looks like his face is made out of clay and poorly. Like it's one of those old vintage sculptures.
Like from the old claymation Christmas movies.
Sure, yeah. Yes.
Democracy, about what's on the line 5 days from now in your estimation, and when you chose to do it, the timing.
Well, the president's been talking about the threat to our democracy since he launched his campaign way back in 2019, and again on January 6th, and again in September in Philadelphia at Independence Hall. And I think the president decided a few days ago that it was important to issue one final warning on this issue, to make very clear, to leave no doubt, that we have people out there still peddling the big lie, people now raising the issue of election denial in this election.
The big lie. One final warning. He's been saying it since the beginning of his campaign, but now all of a sudden it's real.
Yes. Now, I wasn't sure which part he was talking about when he wants to give one final warning of a big lie. Is it what they're saying that's the big lie, or is
Right. It is pretty funny that he's like, the president wanted to give one final warning and warn you about the big lie because election denial is bad. And we all know election denial is bad because only Republicans deny elections. And that is their reasoning for why democracy is going to end, right? Because or right-wingers, non-Democrats are going to deny this election so hard that democracy is going to go away. Have you heard a better explanation as to why voting is going to get rid of our democracy? Also, get your screen out of my face.
I was trying to discreetly share it.
It didn't work.
I was trying to send it your way, and it just was there.
Have you heard a better reason for why democracy is going to disappear? Because all I've heard is if we lose, democracy is going to die.
Right. That's been the mantra for like 2 weeks now. And I shared the Rob Reiner tweet yesterday that like daily he says, get out and vote blue because democracy is at stake. And he's literally a fucking broken record. He has not tweeted a single thing other than get out and vote blue or democracy will die. And so I, in turn, decided to comment on every one of his posts. You, sir, are a broken record. And every single time he posts it, I say the same thing right back at him. And
yes.
No responses, though.
So this next video is 10 minutes long.
Oh, God. Of Hillary?
And we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I feel like we should.
You can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
Yeah, Bernie.
How can you win with Russian interference, though? That's
what
real
I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
Just a reminder. Just a reminder, if what you're listening to, if this video that you're listening to happens, democracy will die. If these people have ever said this thing, democracy will die.
Legally elected is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump...
Okay, so that's 1 minute of 10 minutes. That is 1/10 of the big lie that I heard before 20... Or no. Yeah, before 2020 election, there was a lot of big lies, but I don't know why. I don't know. The big lie became more real, though, after the 2020 election for some reason.
1 minute, and they said it at least 20 times in 1 minute. So imagine that stretched out 10 minutes. You're going to get at least...
That's like 9/11 times 10.
Oh, my God.
All right, Craig, what did you have here?
It's also about the big lie. Politico, who is obviously the most legitimate source, Politico tweeted yesterday, the 2020 presidential election was rife with allegations of voting machine hacks that were later debunked. Yet, there are real risks that hackers could tunnel into voting equipment and other election infrastructure to try to undermine Tuesday's vote.
It's so beautiful to watch them play at both sides because they know that they're going to lose, and they also know that if they don't lose, that it is definitely rigged if they lose, but if not, then it's perfectly... they have to play it both ways because they hope that they win, and if that happens, then they can't say that these things are rigged. But if they lose, they're obviously rigged, and democracy is dead.
I mean, this is surprisingly not a Babylon Bee post here because this is so ironic and so much of a parody of themselves. It's so ridiculous. And Politico was one that was definitely on the side that Trump was not a legitimate president from 2016 all the way to late 2019, early 2020. And then all of a sudden, obviously voting machines being hacked was a debunked myth. Was it actually debunked? I don't remember it actually being debunked, but yes. I remember them saying, I remember them saying, no, that's wrong. Debunked. But don't get too easy here. Don't rest too easy because there is a real risk that hackers could hack voting machines this Tuesday, but not in 2020. That was not possible back then. But in 2016, It was possible, but not in 2020. But now it's possible again.
So what happened to the technology over the last 2 years that made it go from perfectly flawless and the freest and fairest possible means of electing somebody to, we're not sure now because time has gone on and technology degrades. It's like NASA. Did NASA invent the Dominion voting machines?
Yeah, exactly. Probably. You would think they would be spending the last 2 years bumping up their security on the voting machines, putting anti-hack software, putting firewalls up, closing all the back doors into them, making sure this wasn't possible because there was so much rumors of it in 2020. You'd think they'd spend all their efforts. Well, we want to make sure people know that this is not possible. But suddenly in 2022, it's a possibility that wasn't there 2 years ago.
Right. That's how far things have degraded. I mean, these MAGA Republicans, after Biden got in, they just went ham and started hacking into all the Dominion voting machines. They all became coders.
I'm sorry. Do MAGA Republicans seem like the computer nerd
They're
type?
tech nerds, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why there's so many of them in Silicon Valley. Because of their tech savviness.
Now, if in fact the Republicans do win today, do you feel like it was definitely due to hacked voting machines?
I think it's probably more to do with the fact that for as little bit of a like actual platform that the Republicans have left to stand on, the Democrats are just like they're hovering. There's no platform left to stand on. They're kind of dipping their toe a little bit further into evil MAGA talk points as of late. Like they were all about the abortion stuff, and then that didn't seem to work. So now they're all they were all about racism, and now they're all about rigged elections and death of democracy. Like we talked about last night, they have nothing left even to say as a scare tactic other than if this, then bad.
Yes.
Like
If
end of
the
democracy means nothing. Just if this, then bad. Do you know that if we like this democracy concept that they pretend like we live under, if that does exist and it ever existed, then it survived a civil war, a literal hot civil war. But you think, oh, if we vote, if the Republicans win, democracy's gone.
Yes.
So I guess the Civil War just starts and ends today.
Now, what's more fascist, like voting in somebody that might have bad policies for some people, or telling people you can't vote for those people? Now, which is more fascist in your opinion?
Well, it depends. Do you want to elect a fascist? If you do, then you should vote for Republicans. But if you don't, then like the spin is amazing because you shouldn't vote for these people. Otherwise, you won't have a say in elections.
No, what we should do is just cancel elections altogether, because then there will not be the possibility of voting fascism in.
Right.
That is the solution. We should just get rid of elections, just start appointing the people that they feel
Just
are
pick the good ones.
the best people for the job, and then we'll
We're
never
really good
have,
at that.
yeah. You were saying the Republicans barely have a platform left. Well, if the Republicans barely have a platform, then the Democrats are Jack from the Titanic, just hanging onto the edge of the door with nothing to stand on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Democrats have lost their damn minds, and the only thing the Republicans are running on is we're not Democrats at this point. It's like the same as the anti-Trump movement. It's like all they had to run on then was, well, we're not Trump, and now all the right wing has to run on is, well, we are Trump, like, or we're at least not those people.
So there's
It's
no
very
fucking
shallow.
door left. There's no door left in this scenario. It's really just the Democrats drowning, and the Republicans are standing on the head of the Democrats.
It's
holding
just
them
Rose standing on top of Jack, yes. As she did because she's a piece of shit.
Yes, indeed. Oh, man. Hector says the Brazilian presidential election, also run on these voting machines, has people rioting in the streets over stolen election allegations. Great. Democracy.
Well, they must have voted for Trump.
Obviously. I got one more thing, too, because our favorite John Fetterman made the news again last night.
Nice.
Because you know how we are terrible humans, and we kind of mentioned the fact that maybe he's not fit to run because his
brain is retarded.
Yeah, his brain kind of shut off a couple months ago.
Right.
And maybe just maybe you might need a couple of brain cells left to run for a political office. Maybe not. I mean, most of them don't, but
He probably should have had a few more brain cells even before the stroke, or like before he chased down a black kid and shoved a shotgun in his chest.
So a Delaware professor says that doubting Fetterman's fitness is embracing eugenics.
Nice.
So if we're like, maybe that guy shouldn't run because he can't think, we are embracing eugenics because this is just the same exact thing as saying we should let retarded people die and just kill them off.
Hold on. Here's the thing. Here's the best part about this. If John Fetterman was in a womb right now, you would be advocating for his death. All right?
But that's not eugenics.
That's a tweet.
That's human rights.
Oh, man.
Isn't it hilarious?
Like, I just listened to Luke Skywalker go on a tirade on Twitter about how caring and thoughtful it is to abort your kid if their brain is all fucked up. And it's like, so eugenics. But eugenics is fine as long as you do it before they're born. Like,
Yes,
if that's
obviously.
your justification, then I
Then
guess, yes, you would be for killing John Fetterman as well. I'm not, personally, but
that's women's rights then. That's not eugenics. That's just women's rights.
Right.
So this was what she was responding to. This was on the eve of the midterms, it says. So last night, right before his big election, he said, I run on Roe v. Wade. I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade.
Oh, you don't have the video? Come on.
I'm not gonna try because of how badly it went last night. But
That's true.
this
Let me
is
see if I can find
John
it.
Fetterman's declaration, because he's been all about women's rights and all pro-abortion, against Dr. Oz and all about women's rights and things. And this was his final closing arguments. I run on Roe v. Wade. I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade. Yet we are not supposed to say this guy cannot think, because when
Yeah,
he
he's
gets
thinking
off
clearly.
script,
He's just disagreeing with himself very heavily.
yes, when he gets off script, like Joe Biden, he cannot put sentences together. When he gets away from the teleprompter, sentences do not work for this man. Oh, you have the video.
I run on Roe v. Wade. I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade.
Now,
He
I
had to
did have
stop.
somebody point out, I don't think that we're actually correct. I heard this as I celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade as well. But somebody pointed out to me, it sounds like he's actually saying Oz celebrates the demise of Roe v. Wade. But he still says Roe v. Wade, and then his brain clearly goes to mush, and he has to stop and regain his thought. So really, it doesn't matter. Like, we know that he doesn't celebrate the demise of Roe v. Wade anyway. But it does. Listen to it one more time. Tell me if you hear Oz celebrates the demise of Roe v. Wade.
Wade celebrates the demise of Roe v. Wade.
Okay, so he clearly said
I don't like to
celebrate.
give this guy benefit of the doubt or anything, but I think we
Right.
might be being too hard on this mush-brained.
But that's not the point. The point is they're pointing out that he says this thing, and then people kind of gave him shit, as we are, and then people started swatting back, calling it ableism, and then it goes on to say, now the Washington Post has run a long column from University Delaware professor Japreet Virdi declaring it's not just embracing ableism, but eugenics to question Fetterman's
Dear
fitness.
God. Who's
So
calling for the death of him?
right, like, so anytime now, if you say, you're not qualified for this job, I mean, let's say a garbage collector, you don't have legs or arms.
Right.
I'm sorry, you can't
Ableism
collect
is
garbage.
fine if you can't do the job.
But now it's gotten to the point where it's not just ableism. You are saying that person is not fit to live. It's like, no, I just said he can't do this job. I'm sorry. This it's not going to work out here. Or let's just say, your IQ is like 32. Maybe you don't fit the role of rocket scientist. Well,
Ableist.
that's borderline eugenics now.
Yeah.
We are, I mean, mental
Why do you want
gymnastics.
dummies to die, Craig?
Exactly. And it's just like they will use anything to prop people like this up. Anything. Well, you can't question his, because I mean, do you want him to fucking die?
Yeah.
How did we get there?
Have you seen this video?
No, you
The
talked
audio
about
doesn't really matter. It's just beautiful. He's like giving this mushmouth speech, and big
He
gust
even
of wind comes along, just blows all the American flags over right behind him. He doesn't even notice that it happens.
he either
Just keeps
doesn't
going.
notice, or his face more to me is like, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm running to.
Nope. he has no clue.
Nothing.
And God was like, nope. Nope. I don't think, in fairness, I don't think God is voting for Dr. Oz either, but he's definitely
No?
not voting for John Fetterman. No. Craig, who are you voting for today? Got anybody special on your list?
The only person special on my list is that guy that I can never think of his name of, that
John Fetterman.
that supports weed because it grows in ditches. That's the only guy.
Rick Stewart.
Yes, that's the one. Oh,
Yes.
that's the only
If you
reason
live in
I won't.
Iowa, Rick Stewart for governor. If you live in Illinois, Scott Schluter. Scott Schluter? Scott. Sneaky last name for governor.
Yes, yes. You mean you're not voting in the fat mafia guy again?
I mean, he's going to be in, but I'm not going to vote for him, and I know that he's going to be in, so I'm not going to vote for
Does that
Darren Bailey either. Darren Bailey's like just so cringy, boomer con, very very boomer conservative, and I mean it would be a step up from JB Pritzker, but it would still be cringy boomer con, and he's not going to win anyway. So who cares?
Do you know what pisses me off like beyond belief is who's I don't even remember the name of Iowa's current governor. The chick that Kim Reynolds, because he did the Dear Kim
Yes.
video. Kim Reynolds, I saw an
You
ad
don't know
for
the name
her.
of your own governor?
No, I do.
Nice.
I had a brain fart. Anyway, she came on and did.
Had a ketamine.
She did a political ad that came on like Hulu or something the other day, and I got so pissed off because she's like, "Don't vote for the people that wanted to shut all this down." That she's like, "Here in Iowa, we kept our schools open, we kept our businesses open." And I'm like, bitch, no, we didn't. Businesses were closed for like a month and a half, and schools were closed for like a year. I was like,
Well,
what do you
it's
mean?
the same with DeSantis being like, we were the only place that was open. Yeah, but you still shut down. You still proved that you will shut down if things seem like you think that they should. Like you aren't, you shouldn't be wielding the power that you have because you're irresponsible with it. You proved that. You might have backpedaled it quicker than most, but you still did it.
Yeah, just the fact that you didn't as long doesn't mean that you can throw around the words. We didn't shut down. We did not close.
Right.
Do you think we just all forgot that our kids were at home doing online school? Because I didn't forget that because it's a huge freaking pain in the ass. And I didn't forget the fact that as soon as I got decided to get a little bit of motivation and start going to the gym, you shut the gym down literally the next week. I didn't forget that shit because I haven't been back to the gym ever since because you ruined my motivation.
My body.
Yes, that too.
I blame Kim Reynolds for the 15 pounds that I put on over the last year.
Exactly.
Now, when you vote, do you look into the people or do you just vote straight Republican or whatever you are?
I'm not Republican. I don't remember if I even went to the midterms last time. And this last time I voted mostly libertarian, and I actually looked into like this last time was the first time I looked into like my school board members because of the whole shutdowns and stuff. And I specifically looked for the ones that were like, no, we need to stop fucking shutting down schools and we need to stop doing that. I actually looked into school. This time I haven't looked into a damn person. The most I have looked into is watching that video of Mr. Stewart that you played. So that's why I went to vote for him. And I heard him campaigning when Spike came here to Iowa. I heard his campaign speech then, and he was freaking awesome then. So if anything, I might go. What's that?
Rick is great.
Yeah, I might just go and vote for him and then just write in John Fetterman for everybody else.
Yeah, I did look up everybody on my ballot, and like I was talking about last night, most of them don't even bother to share much about their platform. But if they do, my opinion and my method is if they don't feel like sharing their stance on the issues, then don't vote for them. Who cares what's next to their name? They mean nothing. They stand for nothing other than probably Trump or anti-Trump. But there's one Republican that I'm going to vote for over a Libertarian even. I think the rest of we've got quite a few Libertarians on the ballot. I'm going to vote for the vast majority of them. I think there's just the one that I looked them up and I was like, no, way too blue for me. And too blue on the COVID stuff. But
do you fear by saying that you might lose some of your libertarian people because you're not libertarian enough for them?
No, because I
you're
don't
not a
care. If they leave, good, because if they're the type of person who would be that stupid, then I don't care for their support. But yeah, my opinion or my stance is look them up and vote for them. And if you're not going to look them up, or if you can't look them up or whatever, don't vote for them, because even if they're running unopposed, they're going to win if they're unopposed. So definitely don't like vote for the system that's just going to win anyway. Protest in by writing in or leaving blank. But there's one more thing I wanted to point out before we go. Somebody else is pointing out that. Well, the New York Times is pointing out that Russian bots are meddling in the midterm elections. That's what they've been pushing lately. And what's funny is like we know that there's like wartime propaganda and there's like all this nonsense in the world, but it's beautiful when you get to see a little glimpse of what the Russians think about us using them for propaganda every single time. Because RT, which is Russian state affiliate media, posted Russian bots meddling in the midterms, New York Times, and has a link to their article. And it's just got this GTA dude walking up and says, here we go again. I mean, come on.
Come on. You know, Putin's sitting there.
Hilarious.
Putin's sitting there on his Russian throne, if that's what they have in Russia, and he just like rolls his eyes. Like, are you fucking kidding? He's like, He's like, why are you blaming me for this nonsense? If I was going to meddle, it would be something far better than this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we give Russia way more power than they probably have over our elections. The whole Russia narrative is like the Republicans are only going to win because Russia is hacking it. It's like, well, doesn't that like mean that Russia has a lot of sway in our elections? And doesn't that mean that, Facebook and all their crackdown on Russian bots and stuff that got like $5,000 worth of ads taken down from Russia? That's it, 5,000.
Wow.
Like that's allegedly what swung the election in Donald Trump's favor in 2016. But like,
what is it? Like 10 ads?
Right. It's like, can you say that? Where were the Russians in 2020 during the most free and fair elections of our lifetime? Did the Russians just take a break between 2016 and 2022 to just let Biden get in there?
No, the computer nerds were in full force defending our election against those hackers, and they're on strike this time, apparently. Only if the Republicans win, then they were on strike. Otherwise, they were doing their due diligence.
Makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand how you can say if this, then Russian hackers, but if they didn't win, then the hackers were on a break. It's like, so are the hackers there or are they not? Because you have all this evidence that they're probably there. If you have evidence they're probably there, then you have evidence that they're there. And if they're there, one way or another, didn't they somehow influence the election, whether your side wins or not? You can't say if Republicans win, then hackers were there in full force. If they didn't win, then we beat the hackers. It's like you can find out. It's not that hard for computer nerds to find out if hackers were there or not.
The hackers are hiding somewhere in a bunker with weapons of mass destruction and Osama bin Laden. They're all made up. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Greg, you got anything else on the downfall of democracy and the blood moon and the rise of Antichrist Donald Trump?
Well, it has been a fun ride. If we're not here this time tomorrow, it's because the Antichrist rose, and it was fun. Yeah, hail Donald Trump.
Hail Satan.
I got to thinking, if in fact Donald Trump is the Antichrist, it's perfect, because how many of the evangelical Christians did and would fall for it?
It's true. I mean, they already did. Yeah. They're already. Yeah.
If you wanna be Satan and trick all the evangelicals, definitely don't put in a black Antichrist, because that, I mean,
you're not none of those racist Republicans.
No, definitely put in some bumbling old white dude, because yeah, that's the perfect.
So sneaky, you never see it coming.
Right.
Nobody ever saw Donald Trump coming. Yeah, Craig, where can people find you and the things that you did before the downfall of democracy?
People used to be able to find me before the democracy fell at Break the Bell Pod all over the social medias. That's my handle. That's my handle all over social media at Break the Bell Pod. Or you can find links to everything I do at www.breakthebellpod, P-O-D for podcast, www.breakthebellpod.com. Yeah, that's where my things are. We're all over all the podcast platforms as far as I know. So listen to us, watch us, do things with us. We love you, but now tomorrow you can't do that. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good ride. We had a good run.
We did. We really
and,
did.
Yeah, back in the good old days where the internet was free and fascism didn't purchase Twitter and force us all to vote for Republican overthrowing democracy, you could have found me at thesystemisdown.tv. And now that it's gone, you can find me at twitter.com/at TSID pod on Twitter. Wow.
It's right there on the screen.
It is right there. Yes, you can find me there. And tonight I will be on Dave Casey's election party special. I don't know what we're doing, but something election-y. And tomorrow I'll probably be talking about remembering democracy at 2:00 corn time on The System Is Down at thesystemisdown.tv.
You probably won't because the internet will no longer be free and it will be fascist, so you probably won't be tomorrow. But if you are, you will be.
I, for one, praise our new white/orange overlords, and they're overthrowing. I don't know. Like, it feels more wrong to say this. I always made the joke of, like, when Kamala Harris wins, I'm gonna be like, "Hail Kamala," because she's gonna like be a tyrant or whatever. Now it's like, do I say "Hail Trump"? Because that's more believable. It doesn't feel like a joke when I say that. But no.
You're glowing orange currently right now.
Right. I don't stand by this joke. But hail Satan.
This has been 2 Scoops Morning News every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. Central or whenever we feel like it. Until next time, hang in there, America.